Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to check out Ethereum Classic's price chart, and now I am seeing some very bullish signs suggesting, you know what, maybe this is going to be our final low. Why is that? We are going to get into all that in today's update, but first things first, if you remember, the last time that we talked about ETC, we were all the way down here, and we said, look, of the lowest low, we are able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, which is a very good sign, suggesting maybe we have hit the low of our correction in ETC all the way down here about $19, and followed by that, this can absolutely fall into the category of a correction structure. So essentially, we may have on a higher degree 5 up into 1 correction for wave 2, and according to this scenario, what's next? You know the answer, a strong move on the upside into wave 3 and 4 and 5. However, since back then we didn't have this phase on the upside, we said let's just wait a little bit more in ETC and see a very strong move on the upside without a whole lot of overlapping of the waves, meaning generally an impulsive structure. And at that point, okay, I'm comfortable to flip bullish in like very short term. Overall, I think we are looking bullish one way or the other, no matter what is going to happen in this area. But it is certainly nice to see that we did get what we expected and talked about in the previous update. Now, let's go on 15-minute time frame. First things first, between these two lows, which one is the lowest low? As you can see, it's actually this one down here. So off of it, I do believe that you are able to identify a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave. Excuse me, let's just do this. There we go. Followed by, yep, most likely beautiful A, B, C zigzag structure. This is a very strong bounce, which is what? Yes, you guessed that right. A very important characteristic of a wave 3. Followed by that, I think this might be a correction structure. And if I just zoom a bit more, okay. If you want to go up starting from the current point, this can absolutely probably an A, followed by like an A, B, C, D, E, a triangle into wave B, and another move down into our C leg. You can also argue that maybe we're going to have just another small move on the downside in order to complete the sub waves for a 5 wave into wave C, and then it's going to be time to have hopefully another move up in form of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order to do what? On a higher degree, as you can see, complete the sub waves for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure. If in the next, I'm gonna say probably 72 hours to about 5 days, we see something like this happening, it will be, in my view, an extremely bullish sign in ETC. And so far, I think we are definitely on the right track for that. But here is the situation. Question for you. What is going to happen after we complete a 5 wave up, even if you want to go according to the most bullish scenario? I think you know the answer if you are a regular viewer of the channel. One way or the other, we are going to have a move down. Why? Let's say the most bullish case, meaning this is a 5 wave up and the final low is already in, is actually at the moment in play. Then, okay, in that case, on a higher degree, this is going to be a 1, followed by what? Yep, a correction structure into wave 2, and then we're going to have, yeah, okay, fair enough, strong move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. So this suggests we're going to get a move on the downside. Are we allowed to consider some other possibilities? Absolutely yes. For example, you can argue that in this whole area, we are having just an A, B, C zigzag, which the subways for it are going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into A, correction for wave B. Let's say in this specific example, like an ABC zigzag, and yet another impulse up into C. And let's go on the live chart. Okay, so far I can tell you, if you want to be a bit bearish in ETC, this is 5 wave up, this is correction down, followed by most likely another 5 wave on the upside. So these might very well be the sub waves for a zigzag structure, meaning the next move is going to be a strong one down in order to take this important flow down here for the first target, about $20.50, and maybe even take the lowest one down here, about $18.9. I think this scenario is still possible, but that's not really the point. The point is, whether you want to be bullish or bearish, soon you need to sort of kind of expect a move on the downside in ETC, and this is the key. Pay attention. What really matters in the coming phase down is the shape of the move that we are going to get. If we get a very slow and choppy move on the downside, which is going to take a considerable amount of time, okay, that's going to be a very bullish sign, because these are all the characteristics of a corrective movement, suggesting this is actually our final low, and from here we can expect a continuation of the uptrend. On the other hand, what you do not want to see is a very strong 1 2 3 4 5 without a lot of overlapping of the wicks. Why? Because that's going to be an impulse, suggesting this is actually the beginning of a new move down in ETC. So for now, let's count on a short-term move on the upside and then a move down, which in this phase you need to pay full attention to the shape of the move. Okay, it's very, very important to understand that. Honestly, the move down itself is sort of kind of predictable. Now, if you are going to have a move down, what is going to be a likely target for that move? You see, I think we need to actually get help from classic technical analysis and also gaps. Why? Because I think we can all agree that this is an extremely strong and fast move on the upside. And because of that, when it happened, we actually created in H1 30 minutes and also H4 time frame at the same time a decent gap, which I think the one that we are having in H1 time frame is somewhere around $21.5, and the one in H4, I believe it was somewhere like $22.2 right in here. And here's a very important point. I believe gaps 95+% of the time are going to get filled. So when you combine that with the fact that maybe after another small move up, we are going to have a move down, okay, in my view at least, makes perfect sense to argue, you know what, a likely target for the coming move down in ETC can be reaching to somewhere around these areas and filling all the gaps. And then, okay, assuming that we are able to identify all the right subwaves in here, we're going to be at that point extremely bullish and count on a very strong bounce back in order to continue the bull run and hopefully be able to say, you know what, this is 1, 2, and then huge move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. So let's have a quick conclusion and wrap up today's update. In ETC, at the moment at least, seems like that we are absolutely on the bullish track, but two very important points. After having a small move up, what are we going to have? Even according to the most bullish case, a move on the downside. Point number 2, these are two very important gaps that were created as a result of this specific phase up being way too strong and way too fast. And since I believe gaps 95+% of the time are going to get filled, okay, because of all those, I think we need to count on a move down in order to reach to at least about these areas. And then you need to pay full attention to the shape of the move. At that point, I think we are going to make new updates and see what is next. Maybe even before we get this move down, we're going to make new videos. No problem at all. So I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Ethereum Classic chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.